Ponderosa is a rare breeds farm established to bridge the gap between able and disabled-bodied people through a love of animals on a rare breeds farm in Heckmondwike in the heart of Kirklees.
The Ponderosa Park originally opened officially to the public about 20 years ago. It started out essentially as a bit of a hobby, from what I gather. I wasn't here at the time, to be completely honest with you. I think originally it was quite a few different farm animals and that kind of thing, and the lady that owns the place, Maureen Cook, eventually decided, as her interest grew, let's put it that way, you know, she started developing the place, getting quite a lot more different exotic animals, and then eventually decided to open it up to the public, which originally, from what I gather, it was actually free entry, but there was very, very few animals. And then obviously as the exhibits started to kind of increase in number and size, they started charging people admission, you know, to help with the upkeep of the animals mainly.
My name is Carol, and I have actually worked on every corner in this farm. I started with the birds, and now I'm doing the big side, but I've also worked in the stables as well.
Cicadas are native to Japan, but they've been introduced to Britain, Western Europe, Africa and North America. Although they look harmless, they can do lots of damage to native tree populations as they eat the bark and destroy them.
Ponderosa has always prided itself on being accessible to people of all different kind of abilities or, you know, disabilities and things like that. The place originally started out as somewhere, as I've already mentioned, for people to kind of come and just have a look around. Slowly that concept grew, and Maureen ended up developing a daycare centre for people with learning difficulties, plenty of which even still to this day, after all this time, still come down and maintain our gardens that you may have seen while you've been walking around. They do help, they do kind of come down and help look after the animals as well, and I think the majority of them do get quite an awful lot out of it. You know, being part of a team, as well as the idea of actually getting to look after animals in, you know, a practical setting. The majority of them, you know, do really enjoy it. I think it's a very calming experience for them as well.
We do tours, they go in the play barn, they have pony rides, reptile talks. I've been doing a reptile talk this morning, and then I put them in the play barn, and then we're doing the ponies, and then my role is finished, and then I'll just go back onto the farm and do what I'm asked to do.
These parrots are South American and eat fruits and berries. They also eat clay to get minerals like salt.
My favourite animal would, I'm quite biased if I'm completely honest. I have one of my own pets that's actually here. I started out as the reptile keeper at Ponderosa, so obviously I'm more into the scaly animals and the creeper crawlers and things like that. I have quite a rare subspecies of Boa Constrictor that I actually keep here on show to the public. Obviously I would probably say that she's my favourite. As far as the animals I don't look after though, I've always been quite taken with the lemurs, the black and white ruffed lemurs in particular. We've got 3 babies in there at the moment, so they're drawing an awful lot of attention. Whenever any of the staff tend to get a little spare time, you know, we're kind of heading down towards them and making sure we keep an eye on what the babies are doing. You know, it is quite enjoyable to watch.
These lemurs are indigenous to Madagascar and have found themselves home here in Ponderosa. They eat fruits and berries in the wild, and both their habitat and diet have been mirrored here at the park.
I like them all, but I like the Raccoon Dogs. The Raccoon Dogs and the big Ruffs, the black and white Ruffs. I like everything else, but they're my favourites.
Raccoon Dogs are native to Far East Asia and Siberia. They're at home in both woodlands and mountainous areas, and are members of the canid family. Unlike most canid family members, they are the only ones that hibernate, and they get their name from their appearance, which looks very similar to that of the North American raccoon.
At Ponderosa we get a very, very wide variety of people, to be honest. You know, only yesterday I had a very elderly couple turn up who were telling me how much they absolutely loved it when they were leaving. We get an awful lot of people bringing smaller children as well. You know, we do handling sessions fairly regularly and things like that, and we do tend to aim them more at children than at the adults. But to be honest, I mean, we get people ranging from babies all the way up to, you know, recycled teenagers, as we like to call them, the old age pensioners. We literally do get every walk walks of life coming, you know, to see the animals, or coming for the particular events days that we have set on in the holidays and things like that as well. Regularly we do reptile handling, for example. We have quite a few friendly reptiles that we can actually get out, you know, for the public to handle. Quite a few different snakes and lizards and things. We do handling sessions with the rabbits and the guinea pigs and that kind of thing as well, you know, the smaller mammals, the furries as we tend to call them. We get the birds of prey out fairly regularly as well, and we do occasionally have flying, you know, exhibits with with one of the birds of prey that we've got in particular, that the customers are more than welcome to come and watch, and depending on what kind of a mood the particular bird's in, maybe take part in as well. It can be a bit hit and miss sometimes, but yeah, we do tend to try as best to get at least an example of most of the animals out, you know, that are friendly enough to use and that the children are able to stroke. We don't tend to bother with the spiders so much, but mainly because none of ours are especially friendly enough to use. But yeah, we do get the creepy crawlies out and things like that for them as well.
And it's a learning curve for the children, especially the young children, because we learn them to respect the animals, and we tell them quite a bit about them when we do tours. And they are quite good. They take it in. You're learning, so you're not, you know, if you get pets at home, you're not going to be poking a dog or poking a cat. So we are actually learning them to respect the animals and love them and look at them and laugh at them when they do silly things. So it is good. It is an educational place, really, and I love it.
The Bonanza Play Barn is a new building in Ponderosa built for the younger visitors of the park. As well as this, there's also plans to make a 50-bedroom care centre for elderly residents near the park.
I've been at Ponderosa about 8 years now, about 8.5 years actually. The place has developed an awful lot. You know, we have an awful lot more animals here now than when I first started. I can only see that carrying on. You know, I would hope that would continue. We have a few plans here and there to extend a few enclosures still coming up in the near future, as well as the fact that we are planning a few new brand new animal exhibits as well, which I can't mention at the moment. It's still under wraps, but there will be new things coming soon. We do have plans to begin to use some of the land that we have here that's not really being used for anything at the moment, and maybe try and create some kind of more natural looking, you know, enclosures, more natural habitat style enclosures for some of the animals, maybe like birds of prey and things like that as well. So yeah, the place is constantly expanding, and I'm sure in another 8 years we'll probably have twice as many animals than, you know, what we have now.
I have worked in every corner, and I mean, I like it, because you learn by moving from things to things. So, you know, Jude has really taught me about the birds and the owls and the Harris hawk, which I didn't know very much about those. But I've progressed in 6 years, and my talks are getting longer and longer as I'm getting more information. And when we get new animals, we all go home and get on the internet to learn about them, what they eat, what the habitat is, and it's just an ongoing thing. We'll just see if we get something different.
People like animals, and the relationship with them is mutually beneficial. The rare breeds and other animals at Ponderosa are well cared for, well fed and contented, but they serve a purpose of giving pleasure to visitors, and more than that, they provide opportunities for personal development for people with disabilities.